Hello, beautiful souls learning English with me today. Welcome back to Avenue of Words, where we don't just learn English. We transform our lives through the power of language. Today, I want to share something deeply personal with you. Something that changed not just my English, but my entire mindset about learning and growing. You see, learning English is not just about grammar rules and vocabulary lists. It's about building mental strength. It's about developing the courage to speak when your voice shakes. It's about getting back up every time you make a mistake. It's about believing in yourself when the world feels too fast, too complicated, too overwhelming. If you've ever felt frustrated with your English progress, if you've ever wondered why some people seem to learn so easily while you struggle, if you've ever wanted to give up because it feels too hard, then this video is for you. Because today, I'm going to share 12 powerful habits that will not only improve your English, but will make you mentally stronger, more confident, and more resilient in every area of your life. These are not just learning tips. These are life-changing principles that I've learned from my own journey and from thousands of English learners I've worked with. So grab a notebook, find a comfortable place to listen, and let's begin this transformation together. Habit 1. Practice English in silence first. The first habit that changed everything for me was learning to practice English in complete silence. Most English learners make this mistake. They only practice when they're in class or with friends or when someone is listening. But here's the truth that nobody talks about. The strongest English speakers are those who practice alone, in silence with no judgment and no pressure. When you practice English alone, something magical happens. You stop worrying about making mistakes. You stop comparing yourself to others. You start listening to your own voice, your own rhythm, your own progress. Every morning, before the world wakes up, spend 15 minutes speaking English to yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself about your dreams. Describe what you see outside your window. Read a paragraph out loud and focus on how the words feel in your mouth. This is not just English practice. This is building confidence from the inside out. I remember when I first started doing this, I felt silly talking to myself. But after just 1 week, I noticed something incredible. When I spoke English with other people, I wasn't as nervous anymore. Why? Because I had already practiced being comfortable with my own voice. Your English journey is not a performance for others. It's a conversation with yourself. Start there, in the quiet moments, and watch how your confidence grows. Habit 2. Embrace your mistakes like treasures. Here's something that might surprise you. Your mistakes in English are not your weakness. They are your greatest teachers. But most English learners treat mistakes like enemies. They feel embarrassed. They apologize. They try to hide their errors. They speak less because they're afraid of saying something wrong. This fear of mistakes is what keeps people stuck at the same level for years. Let me tell you about Maria, one of my students. For 6 months, she barely spoke in class because she was terrified of making grammar mistakes. Then one day, I gave her a challenge. Make 10 mistakes in English today and celebrate each one. It sounds crazy, right? But here's what happened. When Maria started looking for mistakes instead of avoiding them, she began speaking more. And when she spoke more, she learned faster. Within 2 months, Her English improved more than it had in the previous 6 months. Why? Because mistakes are data. Every mistake tells you something important about what you need to learn next. Every error is a stepping stone to fluency. From today, change your relationship with mistakes. When you make an error in English, don't say, "I'm sorry." Say, "Thank you for teaching me something new." Keep a mistake journal. Write down every error you notice, and next to it, write the correct form. Review this journal weekly. You'll be amazed at how quickly you stop making the same mistakes. Remember, perfect English speakers are not people who never made mistakes. They are people who made thousands of mistakes and learned from every single one. Habit 3. Learn English. Through your emotions. Most English courses teach you to memorize words and rules. But the most powerful way to learn English is through your emotions and personal experiences. When you connect English words to your feelings, to your memories, to your dreams, they become part of you forever. Instead of learning the word excited from a textbook, remember how you felt when you got your first job, or when you saw your favorite movie, or when you achieved something important. That feeling is excited. Now you'll never forget this word because it's connected to your life. Here's a powerful exercise I want you to try. Every day, write 3 sentences in English about how you're feeling. Not about what you did, but about what you're feeling inside. Today, I feel grateful because right now I'm worried about. This week, I've been excited about. When you learn English through your emotions, several amazing things happen. First, you remember words better because they're connected to real experiences. Second, you become more comfortable expressing yourself in English, not just translating from your native language. Third, you develop emotional intelligence in English, which makes your communication more natural and authentic. I learned this lesson when I was studying abroad. I spent months memorizing vocabulary lists, but I still felt like I was speaking like a robot. Then I started a journal where I wrote about my homesickness, my fears, my hopes. Suddenly, English became alive for me. It wasn't just a subject to study. It was a way to express my soul. Your emotions are the bridge between your heart and English. Use them. Habit 4. Create English rituals, not just study sessions. There's a huge difference between studying English and living English. Most people study English. But mentally strong English learners create English rituals. What's the difference? Studying is something you have to do. A ritual is something you choose to do because it feeds your soul. Let me give you some examples of English rituals that changed my students' lives. The morning English meditation. Every morning, spend 5 minutes listening to English music or poetry, not to analyze it, but to let the rhythm and melody fill your mind. This creates a positive association with English from the moment you wake up. The evening English reflection. Before bed, spend 10 minutes thinking about your day, but think in English. What made you happy? What challenged you? What are you grateful for? This helps you process life in English, not just communicate in English. The weekly English adventure. Once a week, do something completely in English. Watch a movie without subtitles. Cook a recipe from an English cookbook. Take a virtual tour of a museum with English commentary. This creates excitement around English learning. The English gratitude practice. Every Sunday, write 5 things you're grateful for in English. This combines language learning with mental well-being. These rituals do something that regular studying cannot do. They make English a part of who you are, not just something you're trying to learn. When you create rituals around English, you stop asking, "When will I be fluent?" and start enjoying, "How is English making me grow today?" The secret is consistency over intensity. Better to have a 10-minute English ritual every day than a 3-hour study session once a week. Habit 5. Speak to your future self in English. This habit might sound unusual, but it's incredibly powerful. Regularly have conversations with your future self in English. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, speaking English fluently and confidently. What would that version of you say to the person you are today? What advice would they give you? What encouragement would they offer? Every week, spend 15 minutes having this conversation out loud in English. Ask your future self, "What should I focus on this week?" How do you handle difficult English conversations? What made the biggest difference in your English journey? And then answer as your future self, speaking with the confidence and wisdom you hope to have. This practice does 3 incredible things. First, it helps you visualize success in English, which makes it feel more achievable. Second, it allows you to practice English in a safe, non-judgmental environment. Third, it builds a positive relationship with your English learning journey. I started doing this when I felt stuck in my English progress. I was frustrated and wanted to quit. But when I imagined my future self, confident, articulate, helping others learn English, something shifted inside me. That future version of me became my mentor and my motivation. Sometimes your future self might tell you to be patient. Sometimes they might encourage you to take more risks. Sometimes they might remind you how far you've already come. This isn't just imagination. This is creating a vision of who you're becoming and letting that vision guide your daily choices. Your future self is waiting for you. Start the conversation today. Habit 6. Practice English compassion. One of the most important habits for English learners is learning to be compassionate with yourself during the learning process. Most English learners are their own worst critics. They beat themselves up for every mistake. They compare their progress to others. They tell themselves they're too slow or not smart enough or too old to learn. But here's the truth. You cannot hate yourself into fluency. You cannot criticize yourself into confidence. The path to strong English skills is paved with self-compassion, not self-judgment. English compassion means treating yourself like you would treat a dear friend who is learning something new and challenging. When you make a mistake, instead of thinking, "I'm so stupid," try thinking, "I'm learning something new," and that takes courage. When you feel frustrated with your progress, instead of thinking, "I'll never be good at this," try thinking, "Learning a language is one of the hardest things humans do, and I'm doing it." When you hear someone speak English better than you, instead of thinking, "I wish I could speak like that," try thinking, "That person inspires me and shows me what's possible." Practice English self-compassion by talking to yourself in English the way you would talk to someone you love. Use gentle words. Use encouraging phrases. Use patient tones. Here are some English phrases to practice self-compassion. I'm doing my best And that's enough. Every small step counts. I'm proud of myself for trying. It's okay to make mistakes while learning. I'm getting better every day. When you learn to be kind to yourself in English, you create a safe space for learning and growth. And in that safe space, fluency flourishes. Habit 7. Build English stamina through micro-challenges. Mental strength in English learning isn't built through massive study sessions. It's built through small daily challenges that push you just slightly outside your comfort zone. Think of these as micro-challenges, tiny acts of English courage that you do every single day. Here are some examples. Day 1. Order food in English, even if it's just practicing with yourself. Day 2. Describe your morning routine in English for 2 minutes. Day 3. Write a text message to yourself in English. Day 4. Think through a problem you're facing, but think in English. Day 5. Compliment someone in English, even if it's just in your head. Day 6. Describe your favorite memory in English. Day 7. Set your phone to English for 1 hour. These micro-challenges do something powerful. They train your brain to associate English with confidence instead of fear. They show you that you can handle English in real situations, not just in textbooks. The key is to make each challenge small enough that you can't make excuses, but significant. Enough that you feel proud when you complete it. I learned this from a student named Ahmed. He was terrified of speaking English with native speakers. So we started with tiny challenges. First, he would say, "Thank you," in English to the bus driver. Then, "Good morning" to his neighbor. Then asking for directions. 6 months later, he was having full conversations with confidence. Each micro-challenge builds on the previous one. Each small success gives you evidence that you are capable of more than you think. The goal isn't to become perfect. The goal is to become brave. And bravery grows through practice, one small challenge at a time. Habit 8. Use English as your problem-solving language. Here's one of the most advanced habits that will accelerate your English learning. Start using English as the language you think in when you're solving problems or making decisions. Most English learners only use English for communication. But when you start using English for thinking, really thinking, something extraordinary happens. English becomes your internal language, not just your external one. When you face a challenge at work, think through the solutions in English. When you're deciding what to cook for dinner, have that internal debate in English. When you're planning your weekend, make those plans in English. When you're worried about something, work through those worries in English. This habit transforms English from a foreign language into a thinking language. And once English becomes a thinking language for you, fluency follows naturally. I remember the exact moment this happened for me. I was trying to solve a complex problem at work, and without realizing it, I was thinking through all the possibilities in English. When I noticed what was happening, I felt amazed. English had become so natural that my brain chose it for complex thinking. Start small with this habit. When you're deciding what to wear, think through your options in English. When you're grocery shopping, think about what you need in English. When you're planning your study schedule, do that planning in English. The more you use English for real thinking, not just practicing English, the more natural and fluent you become. This is the difference between learning English and living English. When you live English, you don't have to remember to speak. It it just flows. Habit 9. Create English success. Anchors. Success anchors are specific English memories that you can return to whenever you feel discouraged or doubtful about your English abilities. Every English learner has moments of success, times when they understood something perfectly, or said exactly what they meant, or felt truly confident speaking. But most people forget these moments and focus only on their struggles. Mentally, strong English learners collect their success moments like treasures and use them as evidence of their capability. Here's how to create your English success anchors. Keep an English victory journal. Every time something goes well with your English, no matter how small, write it down with details. How did it feel? What did you do right? What made it successful? Create a mental movie of your best English moments. Close your eyes and replay times when you felt confident and successful in English. Make these memories vivid and detailed. Develop English confidence phrases that you say to yourself before challenging situations. I have succeeded in English before, and I can do it again. I am capable of more than I realize. My English is getting stronger every day. When you face a difficult English situation, like a job interview or a presentation, or a conversation with a native speaker, mentally connect with your success anchors first. Remind yourself of times when you've succeeded before. I learned this technique from a student named Rosa. She was applying for jobs and felt terrified about English interviews. We spent time identifying all her English successes, every compliment she'd received every time she'd understood a movie, every successful conversation. Before each interview, she would remind herself of these victories. Her confidence transformed, and she got the job. Your success anchors prove that you are not a beginner in English. You are someone who has already succeeded many times and is capable of succeeding again. Habit 10. Practice English presence. Most English learners are never fully present when they're using English. They're either worried about making mistakes, or thinking about what to say next, or comparing themselves to others. But fluency happens in the present moment. Confidence happens in the present moment. Real communication happens when you're fully here, fully engaged, fully present. English presence means bringing your complete attention to the English moment you're in right now. When you're listening to English, listen with your whole being. Don't think about what you'll say next. Don't worry about understanding every word. Just be completely present with the sounds, the rhythm, the meaning that you can grasp. When you're speaking English, be fully in your words. Feel them in your mouth. Notice how they sound. Pay attention to the response you're getting. Don't rush to the next sentence. Be here with this sentence. When you're reading in English, be present with the page. Let the words paint pictures in your mind. Feel the emotions the writer is sharing. Don't read just to finish. Read to experience. Practice English meditation. Spend 10 minutes each day sitting quietly and thinking in English about the present moment. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Describe your immediate experience in English. This habit of English presence does something beautiful. It makes English feel less like work and more like life. It reduces anxiety because you're not thinking about past mistakes or future challenges. You're just here now, with English. When you're present with English, English becomes present with you. The language opens up. Words come more easily. Understanding deepens. connection happens. Presence is the secret ingredient that transforms English study into English living. Habit 11. Develop English resilience. English resilience is the ability to bounce back from English setbacks stronger than before. It's what separates English learners who eventually become fluent from those who give up when things get difficult. Every English learner faces moments when they want to quit. Maybe you had a conversation where you couldn't express what you meant. Maybe you watched a movie and understood very little. Maybe someone corrected your English in an embarrassing way. These moments don't define your English ability. How you respond to these moments defines your English future. English resilience means seeing every setback as setup for a comeback. When you have a bad English day, ask yourself, what can this teach me? Instead of, why am I so bad at this? When someone corrects your English, think, thank you for helping me improve instead of, I'm so embarrassed. When you don't understand something in English, tell yourself, this shows me what to learn next, instead of, I'll never get this. Build your English resilience through these practices. Reframe your English story. Instead of, I'm struggling with English, try, I'm building my English skills. Instead of, I made so many mistakes, try, I took so many risks today. Create an English comeback plan. When something goes wrong with your English, immediately plan one small action you'll take to improve. This transforms frustration into progress. Remember your English why. Why did you start learning English? What dreams does English help you achieve? Connect with this deeper purpose when surface challenges feel overwhelming. Celebrate your English effort, not just your English results. You are brave for learning a new language. You are strong for continuing when it's difficult. You are amazing for even trying. English resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about always getting back up. And every time you get back up, you become a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident, a little bit more unstoppable. Conclusion. Your English transformation starts now. My beautiful English learning family, we've journeyed through 12 powerful habits today. But remember, information without action is just entertainment. Transformation without implementation is just inspiration that fades. Choose one habit that resonated most deeply with you today. Just one. And commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Master that one habit and then add another. Your English journey is not just about learning a language. It's about becoming the person who speaks that language with confidence, with joy, with purpose. You are not behind. You are not too slow. You are not too old. You are exactly where you need to be, taking exactly the steps you need to take. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep believing in yourself. I'll see you in the next Avenue of Words video, where we'll continue building your English confidence together. Until then, speak kindly to yourself in English and in your heart language. You've got this, and I believe in you.